Moines is a great baseball town. The fans are knowledgeable baseball fans, and the Cubs being as popular as they are in the Des Moines area, it just kind of goes hand in hand.
And this should do it. The Cubs will win.
That might go out of here.
Fly ball deep to left field, and it is out of here. Grand slam home run.
It didn't take me long to realize how popular the Chicago Cubs were, not only in Chicago, but around the country. It gives the players a sense of pride and a sense of well-being, because they know that the Cubs are a well-liked team.
Runner is safe. You betcha. Runner comes home. The runner is safe and into second base's room. It was a drop third strike. Miserak delivered high of the first baseman Griffin.
It's a great place to play. I've always enjoyed playing here. It's just been great fun playing here and had a great time.
The Cubs are going to get another one, if not two. Way back there. It's going. It's gone. A home run for Phil Stephenson, his 10th of the year.
An evening with the Iowa Cubs is an exciting, inexpensive, and memorable night out. Located just south of downtown Des Moines, Secular Stadium brings the thrill of professional baseball to Iowa's capital city. It may be the exciting brand of baseball, the ballpark snacks, or just the cozy atmosphere of the ballpark. But whatever it is, we are sure that you will have a good time. And plenty of fans seem to have a good time during the 1988 Iowa Cubs baseball season. The organization set a new single-season attendance record, attracting 275,091 fans into Secular Stadium. Several key promotions helped draw the fans in. Many giveaway nights where fans received everything from caps to gloves to baseballs. The famous chicken made 2 visits. The annual 4th of July fireworks show. The Chicago Cubs exhibition game, in which the I-Cubs took a 9-3 victory this year despite a home run by Ryne Sandberg. And the popular Equitable Life Assurance Society's Knothole game, where kids 14 and under have the opportunity to attend 7 I-Cub games, receive a free treat at each game, and have the opportunity to win valuable prizes, including a trip to the World Series. But more than anything, a winning team will help draw fans into the ballpark. And the 1988 version of the Iowa Cubs provided plenty of excitement, plus a lot of wins. As part of the Chicago Cubs organization, the players who make up the Iowa Cubs are property of the Chicago Cubs. Their minor league organization consists of 7 different clubs. A rookie team at Whitville, Tennessee, Class A clubs at Geneva, New York, Peoria, Illinois, Charleston, West Virginia, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A Class AA club at Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and finally the AAA club in Des Moines, Iowa. The only remaining step up the organization is to Chicago and the major leagues. In past years, the Chicago Cubs minor league organization has been ridiculed and the cupboard was bare. But over the past 4 seasons, the Class A clubs have produced championship teams that have finally begun to pay off at the upper levels of the organization. This season, those players that had produced the championship seasons at Single A made it to the AAA level. And along with them came new Iowa Cubs manager Pete Mackanin, who finished his playing career with the Iowa Cubs in 1984. As a manager, he led the Peoria club to the playoffs in 1985 and 86. When Mackanin and new pitching coach Jim Wright left spring training from Arizona and headed north for the season, they knew they had an extremely talented ball club. The 1988 season also added a new look to the schedule that Iowa would play. The I-Cubs are part of the American Association, one of 3 AAA leagues. Each major league team has one AAA team that they supply players to. This year, the association was split into 2 divisions. Iowa was placed in the Western Division, with the Omaha Royals, the Denver Zephyrs, and Oklahoma City 89ers. The Eastern Division was made up of the Buffalo Bisons, Louisville Redbirds, Nashville Sounds, and Indianapolis Indians. The winners of each division would play for the league championship. But the other added attraction to the schedule was the interleague play with the International League, one of the other two AAA leagues. This would give the ball club, as well as the fans of Des Moines, the chance to see 8 other teams. Visiting Des Moines for the first time were the Toledo Mudhens, Columbus Clippers, Tidewater Tides, Rochester Red Wings, Maine Phillies, Richmond Braves, Pawtucket Red Sox, and the Syracuse Chiefs. With these new teams, fans also had the opportunity to see some new faces, like New York Mets prospect Greg Jeffries. Plus the chance to see some old faces from past Des Moines days, like Columbus manager Bucky Dent, who played in Des Moines in 1973, and Toledo manager Pat Corrales, who played in Des Moines back in 1959. The AAA Alliance, as it is called, was so successful that it will be brought back again for the 1989 season. On the field, the 1988 Iowa Cubs finished with the second-best record in the franchise's 20-year AAA history. The season began with 2 of the most talked-about prospects in baseball playing in Des Moines, first baseman Mark Grace and catcher Damon Berryhill. But when Chicago Cubs general manager Jim Frey made a visit to Des Moines in early May, he decided to take the 2 with him back to Chicago. But despite the loss of these 2 prospects, the team continued to play well and spent the majority of May in first place. Phil Stephenson took over after Grace left at first base and had his finest season as a professional ball player. After losing the first base job in the Oakland organization to Mark McGwire, he came to the Chicago Cubs organization with high hopes, only to see Mark Grace move ahead of him. So instead of hanging up his spikes, Stephenson went on to become the I-Cubs' most valuable player, hitting 22 home runs, driving in 81 runs, and batting .293. He tied an American Association record with 3 triples in one game, and his defense at first base kept the club in many games. Another veteran player from another organization who helped the I-Cubs was Dave Moyer. He played left field, right field, third base, first base, and even pitched in one game for Iowa. He contributed a career-high 20 home runs and led the team with 83 RBIs. But the bulk of the Iowa Cubs' success came from players who were developed in the Chicago Cubs organization. An outfield comprised of Iowa's top rookie Doug Dascenzo, speedy Rolando Rooms, exciting Dwight Smith, and Mr. Hustle Gary Varsho gave Iowa both a great defensive outfield and great offensive outfield. And one of the keys early in the season was the success of one of the youngest pitching staffs in AAA baseball. 24-year-old Dave Masters tied an Iowa record with 14 victories during the season. 22-year-old Len Damian and 24-year-old Roger Williams each pitched consistently out of the starting rotation. And top rookie sensation Mike Harkey, only 21, filled in after July. Add to the rotation reliever Drew Hall, who led the league and set a new Iowa record with 19 saves. With the loss of Berryhill early in the season, the I-Cubs also needed some help behind the plate. They got just what the doctor ordered in former Oakland catcher Bill Baith, who was in the race for the batting championship until the final day of the season, and Rick Wrona, whose defensive skills kept runners wide awake. Add to the offensive punch that this team had a great defensive effort, and you get a very competitive team. The I-Cubs were led up the middle by second baseman Greg Tabor and shortstop Brian Gwynn, who combined on 135 double plays. Overall, the Iowa Cubs ended up winning the team batting title and tied for the league lead in triples and home runs, the 6th time in 20 years the club has led that category. And the team finished with 6 of the league's top 10 batters: Bill Baith, Rolando Rooms, Dave Moyer, Doug Dascenzo, Phil Stephenson. And for a Chicago Cubs fan, you have to stop and take note of what the farm system has done. The Iowa Cubs were in their playoff race until the final week of the season, as were the AA Pittsfield Cubs. And several Iowa Cubs moved up to Chicago during the season and helped build a winning spirit. Take a look at the contribution the Iowa Cubs made to the 1988 Chicago Cubs. Shortstop Shawon Dunston, class of 1984. Pitchers Greg Maddux and Jamie Moyer, class of 1986. Pitchers Les Lancaster, Jeff Pico, Mike Capel, and Drew Hall. Outfielders Darrin Jackson, Rafael Palmeiro, and Gary Varsho. Plus catcher Damon Berryhill from the class of 1987. And pitchers Mike Bielecki, Mike Harkey, and Bob Tewksbury. Plus first baseman Mark Grace, catcher Rick Wrona, and outfielders Rolando Rooms and Doug Dascenzo, all from the class of 1988. Add to those players Manny Trillo from the class of 1972 and Rich Gossage from the class of 1973. Also throw in former Iowa Cubs manager Larry Cox and pitching coach Dick Pohl. And then you can see what a great number of Chicago Cubs got their start in Des Moines. An Iowa Cubs game in 1989 as we begin our 21st season of AAA baseball in Des Moines. Whether with fellow employees, members of your church or association, a group of friends, or just yourself and family, we know you will have a good time at Sec Taylor Stadium. For further information on season tickets, advertising, group or company rates, and the 1989 schedule, call the Iowa Cubs front office at 243-6111.
To squander this opportunity could very well flat out mean the season. Well, that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the year. 0-2 pitch, runner goes, fly ball right field, breaking back is steals, it's overhead! And scoring is Phil Stephenson, and the Cubs win 5-4. Rick Wrona on an 0-2 pitch lines it over the head of James Steele, and the race continues.